News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-9227, 800-288-WBAP. Well, we have an epidemic of leftists trying to kill conservatives or the president, President Trump, the former and hopefully next president of this country. And we have a serious problem with that. And why is that? And we're also going to touch on the Secret Service, because I will tell you this. I believe that the Secret Service is just as radical, leftist, anti-Trump, weaponized government as the FBI has become and the intelligence community has become. I mean, you're looking at the FBI, the intelligence community, and I believe Secret Service community. Now, I have a friend who's been in the Secret Service for a long time, and I know he's definitely one of us, but unfortunately, I believe he is strongly outnumbered like the FBI agents are, and like many government entities in the intelligence community as well, I believe are. So I want to explore the leftists that are doing this and the assassination attempts with you. So let's get into the left wing nut jobs. Why are so many nut jobs trying to kill political opponents, all left wingers? And this is from Josh Hammer Newsweek today, August 2012. MSNBC lover named Floyd Lee Corkins armed himself with a handgun and extra magazines, drove to D.C. to the socially conservative Family Research Council, planned to shoot it up. He later cited the Southern Poverty Law Center for the proposition that FRC is an anti-gay organization. He also was carrying 15 Chick-fil-A sandwiches, which he hoped to stuff in his dead victims' mouths. Corkin served as a volunteer at the local LGBT community center. He was stopped by an unarmed security guard. June 2017, a left-wing MSNBC aficionado named James Hodgkinson armed himself with a rifle and handgun, drove to Alexandria, Virginia to assassinate the Republican team practicing for the annual congressional baseball game. He severely wounded and almost killed then House Majority Whip Steve Scalise, who's still a congressman from Louisiana. Hodgkinson was a 2016 Bernie Sanders presidential campaign volunteer who, in a Facebook post 3 weeks before the shooting, wrote, "Trump is a traitor. Trump has destroyed our democracy. It's time to shoot and destroy Trump and co." That literally is what the Democrats and MSNBC say. He's a traitor. He's destroyed our democracy. That literally is what Joe Biden and Kamala say, and Kamala says it all the time. In June 2022, a young California man named Nicholas Roski flew to the nation's capital. He attained a handgun, zip ties, a tactical knife, a hammer, screwdriver, and crowbar, and duct tape. He went to Justice Brett Kavanaugh's Chevy Chase, Maryland home and was going to kill him. He turned himself at the last minute, called 911. He was angered by the leaked draft opinion of Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization. He had written in a private chat, I'm going to stop Roe v. Wade from being overturned. In 2023 of March, Audrey Aiden Hale, a transgender woman, she claimed she was a boy, slaughtered 3 children and adults at the Covenant School in Nashville, Tennessee. A former pupil at this Christian school, she took precious time during the rampage to unload 7 rounds into a stained glass depiction of a Bible character, Adam, in a church next door. Her murderous manifesto talked about her anti-Christian motive. It was Christian hate. Sunday, a former President Trump survived again an attempted assassination for the second time in 2 months. The first would-be assassin, the mysterious Thomas Crooks, donated $15 to Act Blue. He also went nuts on platforms saying that Joe Biden was great, the illegals was basically not happening, and said some bad things about Trump. The second one is much less mysterious. Ryan Routh, a prolific public record, 100 arrests and infractions. He's a convicted felon in supporter of Sanders' 2020 presidential campaign. He had the over-the-top creepy obsession with Ukraine. He flew there. He dealt with illegal arms traders and Ukraine mafia, and then talked about assassinating Putin and other world leaders. He also was arrested for having a weapon of mass destruction in the state of, I think, houses in North or South Carolina. He barricaded himself in the house with a cop show up. He had a machine gun, a fully automatic machine gun. Somehow he bought a house in Hawaii and he bought a house in North Carolina, and he's traveling to Ukraine while working with Ukrainian mobsters and trying to do black arms, arms trade in the black market. So that's who this guy is, and that's also, he's a convicted felon. Anyways, he voted for Sanders, and by the way, he gave 15 donations to Act Blue. So that's two of them, at least, that donated to Act Blue a lot, this guy. So he, as you know, his media accounts are rife with de rigueur, left-wing platitudes about alleged unprecedented threat by Trump to Americans' democracy and constitutional order. So that's what we're seeing from Newsweek. And then did you hear about this Supreme Court? A man was just arrested for threatening to kill. 150 messages, graphic. I'm going to read some of them to you. I'm going to call and urge my fellow Vietnam veterans to drive by the Supreme Court, Justice number 2, they're not naming him, house with their AR-15s, and when the F word and his effing piece of S and C word wife. You know who that is? That's Judge Alito, whose wife put up that flag. Remember that? And they were saying, it was him and how dare you. His wife is a big supporter of Trump. And I'm going to spray that home. You and your wife, your C-word, S-word, piece of S-word wife, you and you. I'm going to spray your home with my AR-15 and these disrespectful MFers with hundreds of rounds. Some of the messages called them corrupt. One of them referred to a justice's spouse as his N-word loving insurrectionist wife. That is, what's his name? Everybody knows who he is. He's an amazing judge, too. A black guy. He's conservative. Yes, thank you. Clarence Thomas's wife, big Trump supporter. So he called her an N lover, and that'll be. He said. So that's it. He is from Alaska. His name is Panos Anastasio, a 76-year-old Alaskan man arrested for threatening to injure and kill Supreme Court justices. This is Biden's Justice Department. They said he's donated to more than $700 to Democrats in the past 8 years. So you have, 6 people that are leftist threatening to murder our officials and presidents and doing it even. The problem is not on the right. The problem is on the left. I'll get to the Secret Service in a second, but why do you think so many left-wing nut jobs are trying to kill Republicans? And they're still telling, of course, Trump that they're saying that Trump's a threat. He's a Hitler still. It's unbelievable. But why do you think so many left-wing nutjobs are trying to kill Republicans? And do you think there's more left-wing threats recently than right-wing threats? Does the left wing have the market on this now? The people on the left, do they have the market on this now? Being murderous, terrorists, and even white supremacy here. Does the left wing now have the market on political violence? I sure think so. I mean, this is a clear, massive pattern. We'll get to the Secret Service next. I'll pop the question off for you. But do you think the Secret Service, like the FBI, has been taken over by Trump haters who are leaving Trump exposed on purpose? I do. Not on purpose to the point where it's completely, totally obvious, but leaving it I've called it withdrawing their hand. Doing the minimum, not going out of their way, not being extra into it, and not being attuned like they would for Kamala or Biden. Unequivocally, I think that's the case. So those are my questions. Our number is 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. This is the Chris Crock Show. I'm going to give you more details on the latest on the Secret Service because that's horrific too, and it got worse today. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Lines wide open. Chime in right now. Did you see this? I talked about this the other day. It really kind of adds to what we were talking about here. A poll of Democrats, a poll of Democrats that was just done. Majority of them are unsure or say the United States would be better off if Trump was murdered. Majority of Democrats either unsure, like maybe, then I'm not sure, or they say yes, we would be better without Trump we would be better off if Trump was murdered. So I'll share the few lines here from Breitbart's coverage of this. A majority of Democrats say they're either unsure if America would be better off with Trump if he had been murdered over the weekend, or flat out say America would be better off. It's a Rasmussen poll, Scott Rasmussen. 17% of the voters believe America would have been better off if Trump had been killed in last week's attempted assassination. And it's the question asks, while it is always difficult to wish ill of another human being, would America be better off if Donald Trump had been killed last weekend? 47% of Democrats said no, but 28% said we would be better off, just kill him. That's 1/3 of all Democrats basically said kill the man. We would be better off freaking kill him. Give me a gun, I'll do is what they're saying basically. And then 25% said I'm not sure. In other words, I'm on the fence about that. We might be better off if he was murdered. I'm not sure though. Let me think about that. I'm not sure. I'm on the fence. You total it up, that's 53% of all Democrats say, you know what, probably or maybe or yes. Maybe that shows us why so many Democrats are trying to kill Republicans. At least 7 by the ones I just read off to you in the last segment. Meantime, Josh Hawley, who has gotten whistleblowers left and right on the Secret Service, says that the whistleblower says that the Secret Service has been standard Secret Service protocol. Sweeping that course and checking that area of the course where the latest Democrat liberal terrorist was to kill Trump. It was normal protocol to sweep it. They knew there were vulnerabilities at that course, and they didn't go. And a whistleblower with direct knowledge told Hawley, Secret Service protection of former President golf course at West Palm Beach. The individual was in fact protected Trump was at that very location. The individual who has protected Trump at that very location. There are known vulnerabilities in the fence, that area in the course. The clear line of sight to the former president and others playing the course. Whistleblower says it's been Secret Service protocol to post up agents right there at these vulnerable spots when Trump visits. Didn't happen September 15th. Instead, the gunman was permitted to remain along or near the fence line for 12 hours in the area they already knew was vulnerable. Let me tell you something else. What's really incredible about this is that many people like me didn't know this until I heard it today on Fox News. How many years was Trump president for? 4. Do you know how many rounds he played at that very golf course that he owns while he was the president of the United States of America? No, like a bunch. A lot. I heard that today. That's his golf course, and that's right by Mar-a-Lago where he lives, right? So, he went down there when he was president for 4 years from time to time. Every time he was not every time, but he played golf a lot is what I heard this morning on Fox. So that was a regular course he played while he was the president. So you tell me now, as the president of the United States for 4 years, playing golf at that place a lot while he was president, how familiar was that Secret Service with that course? What do you think? I mean, really familiar. Like you would guess that a quarter or half of all Secret Service that protects presidents, because there's a whole wing that doesn't. They rotate. My friend was protecting one of our presidents for. They were supposed to do it for 3 to 4 years. He ended up doing it for 5 or 6. And I'm proud to say he would listen to me when he was protecting that president, and he worked a later shift. And he was real sweet to me. He would send me nice texts and stuff. And anyway, and he also told me don't go anywhere near it because he would have to shoot me. Because he knows who I am. I'm just kidding. But and then of course they move you into other offices, and that's where my friend's at now, other offices. And he started out at a more of a law enforcement, not the money stuff at first. He was more of a cool job at first, and then another cool job. Now it is the money stuff, I think. So anyway, the questions I have are: do you think the Secret Service, like the FBI, has been taken over by Trump haters who are leaving Trump exposed on purpose? I do believe so. Why do you think, not 100% exposed, but enough to withdraw their hand without being obvious? And I think they're done now because it's twice as unbelievable. And Rowe today, the Secret Service director, acting one, Rowe said today, "Oh well, it worked. Our protection worked. Our layers are protected." It was one guy at the next hole in front of the president. Do you understand that? The president was on the putting green close to wrapping up on the previous hole, and then he was going to get in his cart, and he drives his cart. I've never seen anybody drive him when he's in golfing. Drive his cart on a path that was 40 feet from that fence where the muzzle was sticking out. Do you think he was going to miss him then? No. And if he did miss him, it would be once again by an inch or hit his ear or his toe. So it didn't work. What would have worked is if they would have caught him when he was there for 12 hours. And they said, well, he announced it at the last minute. Yeah? Well, you guys guarded that course for 4 years. So don't talk to me about you didn't know anything. So that's that. And why do you think so many left-wing nut jobs are trying to kill Republicans? And do you think there's more left-wing threats recently than right-wing threats? And do they now have the market on this? I believe they do. And I believe there's more of them because they're encouraged to it. They're told that Trump is evil and he's Hitler. And you got to kill Hitler. Would you have not advocated for killing Hitler in his regime? You know, once you knew what he was doing, would you not be... wouldn't you be evil or wrong to say leave him alone? And wouldn't it be wrong, I won't say evil, but wouldn't it be wrong to not try to take action against him, to not try to kill him? So, this is what you have to do if you believe the MSNBC and the liberal Democrat and the Trump-hating talking points. You have to take him out if you believe that by any means necessary. And that's why this is happening. And what's really sad and sick is it doesn't stop on MSNBC and CNN. It doesn't stop. And every night I have two screens on in my studio. One is fake news CNN and one is Fox. And it's really remarkable to see the different screens next to each other, because the right screen with the left screen with fake news CNN is always saying how bad Trump is, and the right screen is doing a bunch of everything, So it's just sad. It really is. Okay, coming up next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Sean Puff Diddy Combs is now placed on suicide watch while awaiting trial, but his mental state is unclear. His dead girlfriend, Kim Porter, there's reports now that there's a book being published at 60 pages of her diary, and it shows terrible things, including child rape charges, allegations of people who are household names now. So I'll get to that coming up next, and we're going to talk about whether you think he's going to be Epstein'd, like Hillary Epstein. Did I tell you what my favorite ornament on my Christmas tree is every year that I hang? I did? Yeah. It's got Jeffrey Epstein's picture on it. It's beautiful. And it says, this ornament didn't hang itself. Every year we put that one up, and that goes right in the front at the top of the Crock Christmas tree. And it's beautiful. We always we pose by it on our Christmas card to take a picture with it. All right, we'll get into that next on the Chris Crock Show at 33 after the hour on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Well, Puff Daddy is now put on suicide watch. You know what that means? That means they're gonna off him soon. Hillary's gonna take care of him. Very, very soon. There is a very funny little video that I might be able to pull up, and it's got Hillary being interviewed, and apparently, here it is, I got it right here. This is an interview that was just done on MSNBC about how Hillary plans to kill Puffy. So let's see. I'm not sure if this is true. I retweeted it so you can see it yourself on my Twitter feed at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show, ChrisKrok. And you can see it yourself. This is MSNBC. How are you going to kill Puffy, Hillary?
So your husband flies to Epstein Island 27 times. Then they arrest Jeffrey Epstein, and then you kill him. Just like that. You bribe the guards, you turn off the cameras, and then you choke him to death. Will you be choking Puff Daddy this time around?
Right.
So how are you planning on doing it?
Well, I wanted to choke him at night and make it look like a suicide, just like Jeffrey Epstein. But then I realized Puffy might actually enjoy that. So,
That's true, by the way, because he's into that horrible stuff.
He slips on the shower. Maybe he chokes with
All right, so there you go. She goes on and on. It looks pretty real because it's obviously AI, and it's like her interviewing with him on something, and the expressions are matched up with what she says. It's hysterical. Now, he's on suicide watch, and that means they're going to off him. And they're not saying People Magazine did this report, and I have it right here. It's like an exclusive, and they say that they don't know definitively if he's actually suicidal, but they do say that he's at the Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, and that is a very bad place. The reports are that there's I heard some really sick stuff about maggots in the food and people getting killed in there and all sorts of stuff. And honestly, I don't hope he gets killed or anything. I want him to go to trial and face justice, but I do hope that he suffers tremendously in there by poor conditions, because what we're learning about this guy, the allegations, which I believe they're allegations until proven true. Right now, he's been charged by the feds with racketeering and sex trafficking and transportation to engage in prostitution. And he faces a definite life in prison. In this facility, MDC, Metropolitan Detention Center. It's a federal detention facility. Obviously, the feds are charging them. It houses 1,600 inmates. Many are awaiting trial. It's known for being dangerous and understaffed, People Magazine says. High number of deaths and suicides. In their motion, Combs to be granted bail. By the way, he is a flight risk. He's worth so many millions, and he's a definite flight risk, by the way. So I'm glad the judge saw that way. And he would intimidate everybody, which is what he's done to get in this position, according to all the charges. Just earlier in the summer, an inmate was murdered. The legal team said at least 4 inmates have died by suicide there in the past 3 years. Whew. So, meantime, I have no sympathy for him. Meantime, the charges, the information here coming out is getting more and more vile. This 60-page book that's being printed and published is reportedly the diary, 60 pages of different diary excerpts from his former baby mama. And it says that there's reportedly tape of him raping a boy, having sex with a boy, who would then move on to end up being like a hip hop or R&B household name. Usher was there when he was a child, and he said, I shared you the quote from when he was on, I don't know if it was Howard Stern or somewhere. He's like, I saw all kind of freaky things or something like that, or all kinds of curious things, he said. So is it Usher that was on tape? I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not trying to be mad or mean or rude or say anything. I hope it's not him or anybody, but I believe this. And there was something yesterday, and it's on my Twitter feed. You can see pictures of Leo DiCaprio and champagne flying everywhere, I think being poured, and Ashton Kutcher at one of these things. Now, was it the sex parties? I don't know. Was it sex trafficking, a slave going on? I don't know. But we have more information coming out today. So I think you have so many powerful people and famous people, and T.D. Jakes has been alleged to have been involved in this. He has shown up in court documents for being involved in being the fixer person for Puffy when this stuff started coming out not too long ago. And then there was people giving allegations he was in these parties. I don't know, of course, but there's a lot of powerful people. Do you think they're going to Epstein Puff Daddy? You got people's names, like I just mentioned, Leo DiCaprio, T.D. Jakes, top rappers, Hollywood actors, household names. One of them raped as a boy. Do you think Puff Daddy is more of a risk than Epstein was? Man, that's a close one. because there's powerful people that are going to get pulled into this. And should he ever be free from jail if these allegations are true? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. We got 3-4 minutes we can pop you on right now. 800-288-WBAP is our number. Here's the other thing, too. We have now a right-hand person. His Ghislaine Maxwell is coming out. Remember Ghislaine Maxwell? She was the woman who recruited girls to be raped and vilely mistreated, and was like a pimp, pimping out these girls to him and lying and getting them. He has Diddy Combs now is being alleged had a woman who was his right-hand fixer. Christina Coram is what they allege in an unsealed indictment. See, here's the people that are going down with him. She facilitated, according to feds, his use of sex workers, some underage, for wild drug-fueled sex parties that lasted hours. The indictment says that he used certain employees, including high-ranking supervisors, to carry out, facilitate, cover up his abuse and commercial sex ring. None of them were directly named in the filing. Combs' producer, Rodney Lil Ron Jones, has alleged, according to the New York Post, that Christina Coram was indispensable to the wild parties Combs referred to as his freak-offs. It says that Combs' supervisors put together the parties, included sex workers, as well as stocking the hotel rooms in advance with required freak-off supplies, including controlled substances, baby oil, lubricant, extra linens, and lighting. It was even alleged the sex workers were worked so hard afterward, some needed IV drips to replenish their bodily fluids. Combs was denied bail. He would get them high and have them as a sex slave for weeks, just abusing them violently. Combs was then denied bail, but has pleaded not guilty to sex trafficking, racketeering charges. Women being identified, numerous sources. Is the right-hand person, Christina Coram, hired at Combs Bad Boy Records in 2013, promoted to as chief of staff in 2020. In instances, Jones alleges that she knowingly and intentionally participated in, penetrated, assisted, supported, facilitated sex trafficking ventures, was instrumental in organizing and executing trafficking enterprise. She was so involved in staffing and planning them that she described Coram as Ghislaine Maxwell to Sean Combs, Jeffrey Epstein. There you go. I knew it. So, Daily Beast notes Combs himself often praised Coram for being his principal party planner and all-around fixer. He wrote of her on social media in 2020, "She keeps my world twirling, makes sure that I smile every day and I don't go into those dark places. Christina and AKKK keeps everything in my life business running. She's been my right-hand man for the last 8 years and has consistently proven to execute and get S-word done that don't know how I'd function without her." She's not the only one accused. There's a former porn actress named Adria English accused. Combs' employee named Tomiko Tomas is similarly acting as Combs' Ghislaine Maxwell to Diddy's Jeffrey Epstein. There's going to be a big ball coming down on this, and he's going to jail for the rest of his life, as he should. I don't want him being killed because I want him to live his life in prison, tortured and paying. And I want every one of these people to go down with him, and I want everything to be preserved and released. Next, rules for thee and not for me. This is why... By the way, this is who Kamala is as well. What I'm about to tell you is who Kamala is. It's who all these liberal Democrats are that want to control our lives, take away our guns, and lock us up like Walls did and have snitch lines if you try to get out, and put you in jail or shut your business down for good if you violate the COVID lies and the COVID shutdowns. You have a top COVID advisor, the COVID czar for New York City, caught doing unbelievable things in the middle of a pandemic while everybody else was supposed to get vaccinated and locked up if they didn't do that. You're going to hear about that in his own words. He was caught on tape saying some stuff that's wild. Next, on the Chris Crock Show at 46 after the hour on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Happy Friday, y'all. What a pleasure to be here with you at 10:48 p.m. on a Friday night on News Talk 820 WBAP. And now on FM at 93.3. Okay, so the the guy in charge of COVID, the New York City COVID czar during COVID, at the height of everything, he was going out and telling the Bill de Blasio, that horrifying, horrifically horrible mayor billionaire mayor, to make sure everybody had to get vaccinated and make it so that they literally can't go anywhere without a vaccine. Remember, they did that in New York City. They tried to pull that crap in Chicago, and my kids, when they visited for a week, I think it was, while we were out of the country or something one time during that year, one of those years, and my son and daughter took a copy of their I think it was a birth certificate and just changed the date on it or something like that. No, it was I think it was a COVID vaccine card, something of that nature, and they altered it, and they did that. They didn't get vaccinated, and they never have been, and they never will be. But this ruined people's health, ruined people's lives. The whole thing's a sham. It's a scam. It was a lie. And now you find out that COVID czar that was enforcing all this and saying, I'm a doctor, I know everything, has been caught. He was bragging with somebody that had a camera undercover about what he did. And when he went to parties, he literally had parties, or he went to parties that were massive sex club parties where people were rolling around having like orgies underneath a Wall Street bank. It was rented out. And he said he was high on Molly and ecstasy and having sex with all these people and a big party. And of course, there's no social distancing. There's no masks or anything. So that's what the COVID czar did of New York City when he was locking us up and telling us to get vaccinated and not leave the house and to be 6 feet apart. He went in around hundreds of people and had sex with a bunch. That's who these are. And Kamala, not sexually, but lying to us, saying she's going to, take away our guns, and she filed a brief saying that handguns are not legal, and that there's no fundamental right to the Second Amendment. I tweeted out the story. You can see it for yourself. 2008 brief she signed argued that a total handgun ban was constitutional and strongly suggested the Second Amendment doesn't secure an individual right. And then now she tells us on Popra last night at the Popra Kamala Worship Fest that she's a gun owner, and if somebody breaks into her house, she's going to shoot them. And Popra was like, oh, wow, you're so bad, girl. She is like this guy. Rules for thee, but certainly not for me. Just like Gavin Newsom, another California liberal, who went to the French Laundry and wasn't social distancing with no masks on outside. Being a very wealthy man, he and Pelosi, same thing. It's so nice to tell people what to do and make them wear a mask while you sit there and party it up with violating the rules that you're strictly enforcing. Shame on you people. You make us sick. Here is the COVID czar in New York City.
I actually was the one who convinced the mayor to make it a mandate.
Like, New York City found out that you were having sex parties during COVID?
Yeah, it would have been a big deal. Yeah, it would have been real bad. We went to some, underground, dance party, underneath a bank in Wall Street. And we were all rolling, we were all taking Molly, and everybody's high.
So I'll read you the transcript because it's a little bit difficult, but it was clips of him, put together where he said, yeah, I did the COVID mandate. And then she said, can you imagine if the city found out if you were having sex parties while there was a COVID mandate going on? So I'll read you the transcript real fast. But this is who these leftists are and how they will control us and do things to us. Here we go. Dr. Jay Varma, senior health advisor to Bill de Blasio, mayor at the time, running the pandemic response for New York City. He made a confession in a secretly recorded conversation with undercover operative from conservative podcaster Steven Crowder's Mug Club. I had to be very sneaky about it because I was running the entire COVID response in the city, he said on August 1st of this year. Edited clips of the hidden camera footage were all recorded between July 27 and August 14 in New York of this year, and played on Crowder's show Thursday. He no longer worked for City Hall because he was with the former administration. The New York Post is the story that I'm sharing with you. He participated in 2 private gatherings between April 2020 and May 21, insisted the secretly recorded conversation had been taken out of context. Yeah, right. see the magazine. Let's see. The one clip recorded him saying it would have been a real embarrassment if he had been busted at the non-socially distanced party, saying there was no gathering restrictions at the time. We went to some underground dance party underneath a bank. Yeah, he said that after he got caught. Underneath the bank of Wall Street, we're all rolling. We're all taking Molly, MDMA, ecstasy or whatever. Everybody's high. I was so happy because I hadn't done that in like a year and a half. But I was looking around being like, F word. I wonder if anybody sees me, they're going to be pissed because this was not COVID friendly. The only way I could do this job for the city was if I had some way to blow off steam every now and then. My wife and I had one of our friends in August of like that first summer. We rented a motel. We took Molly. It was for 8 or 9 of us, 8 to 10 of us in the room. Everybody had a blast because everybody was so pent up. I did this deviant sexual stuff while I was like, like on TV and stuff. People were like, aren't you afraid? Aren't you embarrassed? And I was like, no, actually, I'm like, I love being my authentic self. So that's the people telling you to get vaccinated and stay indoors or you're going to be arrested. Got it? No thanks. Never for me. That's it. This was from the New York Times, this story. There's another story right here. Okay, the one I gave you was from the New York Post because the New York Times was behind a paywall. All right, 800-288-WBAP is our number.